Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know there's 237 days until Christmas 2024. Oh boy. This is a show today for you, our channel members, our patrons, the supporters of the channel. We're so thankful for all of you. I love when we get an opportunity to get together and talk about Star Wars with our friends. And, we all have different perspectives. We all have different kind of things that bring us into the fandom. And I hope today, if you are able to join us, you can find the link to join this stream. You can come on and talk about whichever Star Wars topic you like. Of course, the Bad Batch is going to be front and center of, I think, all of our attention because of the finale just yesterday. So there's plenty to talk about. And I'm going to expect that probably you've seen Star Wars Meg's video this morning. It was quite good. Well, morning for me. So it was quite good. And it raises several questions. And we'll talk about those as well. But if you're one of our channel members on YouTube, you've joined as a channel member, you can find the link to join this stream in the YouTube community tab, and you can come on in and talk about Star Wars. If you're one of our patrons, and Patreon is the best way to support the channel, and for all YouTube content creators, if you're wanting to support any content creator on YouTube, if they have a Patreon, you should go support them on Patreon. But you for all of our patrons, all of you who support us generously there, you can find the link to join this stream in Patreon. Also, if you have connected your YouTube or Patreon accounts to your Discord account, you use Discord, you'll find the link to join this stream on Discord as well. So those are the three places you can find the link to join today's show. And this is your show. This today is for you to talk about what your thoughts are about this latest episode of the Bad Batch, or there's all kinds of other information coming out. And I just saw this came up a little bit earlier. It says Astromech Jeremy just became a member. Astromech Jeremy, one of my favorite people. Absolutely love the guy. We've got a lot in common, he and I. There's a lot different too, but I appreciate you being here. And Nerd Mafia, he's been giving me some DMs this morning. We've been chatting a little bit about Omega. And that's where I want to kind of start maybe the discussion, because Meg raised the question in her video today. And I was thinking of it yesterday. As soon as the show ended, we see in warning, spoilers, if you haven't seen the Bad Batch finale, oh, you may want to go watch that. You shouldn't be here because I'm going to talk extensively about that finale. We're going to go into some of the details about that finale. And if you haven't seen it, go treat yourself, take a break, go turn it on and watch that Bad Batch finale. It's quite good. So you've been warned. You've been given a heads up. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. There is in that epilogue scene, the time jump at the end of the show, we see Omega aged up quite a bit. And of course, you can see Hunter is now graying around the edges. And Meg brought it up in her video where perhaps it's at the same time period as Rebels. And in my mind, I was after Rebels, but after some discussion over on Meg's Discord and thinking about it and seeing some of the other evidence, I think she's right. It very well could be within the Rebels time period. She's already met Hera Syndulla, and I really liked, I think Matt Risman posted something over there that said Mon Mothma had sent out a call saying we need people who want to support the rebellion to come join the cause. And it very well could be that Omega is responding directly to the call from Mon Mothma. And we don't know what Omega's been up to all this time, right? There's been quite a bit of time between the end of the show and the epilogue scene. And has she stayed on Pabu the whole time? Has she been running little jaunts here and there? Where'd that ship come from that she has? How long's it been in that cave? There's lots of things, right? So there's tons of things that could have happened in that time period. She may have been in contact with Hera on and off, and she's primarily staying in that area there around Pabu. The other question I have, and I raised this as well, where's Lama Su? So we know Nala Se gave her life, right? Nala Se gave her life, and a Rampart was blown into parts, right? So Nala Se gone, and I think yesterday, or I think it was yesterday, Meg raised the other question that says, well, how is it by the time we get into the Mandoverse era and we see Dr. Pershing talking about the cloning technology, where did that come from? Well, what if Lama Su is still alive? What if he was not killed in all of the turmoil that happened there? What if he was in the other mountain? What if he was off site? What if his detainment area was not affected and he's a survivor? Now, he's not the same kind of scientist that Nala Se is, right? Nala Se, cloning scientist, she was working on the cloning project. And Lama Su was the prime minister's, I think that's his official title, of Camino. If that's the case, then he would have some familiarity, of course, right? He would know some things, of course, but would he know the intricacies of cloning technology? Perhaps not. And then that would be another huge anchor in the technology to bring the cloning along by the time we get into the Mandoverse era, and of course afterwards. So lots of things. Yeah, Nick says namaste. All these names get really confusing. The Kaminoans, right? Lama Su. I always remember Lama. His name. He's the prime minister. He was not a nice guy. He was lame. Lamasu, lame. That's how I made the connection in my head. So every time I try to remember his name, I think, okay, Camino and lame. Lamasu, got it. Then Omega's mother figure, Nala Se, female. Nala Se is nice. Nice. Nala Se, nice. That's how I remember the two. Otherwise, those names, Namaste, Lamasu, Nala Se, blah, 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 none of it makes any sense to me. Right? But there you go. That's how I work it out in my head. Yeah, so did Lamasu survive? Is he the connection? Is and I see this. I hope we see Omega in live action. And I was wondering, maybe we have already seen Omega in live action, right? And that's why I was saying, if we go back to the Ahsoka season finale, and you see a bunch of pilots running around there on base 1 or whatever. I can't remember. Alpha base. I can't remember the name of that base. You see a bunch of them running around there. Could you find a female pilot with her hair pulled up in a ponytail and somebody say, oh, look, that could be Omega? Of course, it would be a retcon of that character, because I doubt that they planned it ahead of time and said, oh, we're going to put this character in here so that we can call back to them later. Right? I don't think that would be the case, but that's what's going on. Or could you find her in, say, Rogue One, much like we hear we hear General Syndulla, all right, in Rogue One, and you also see Chopper briefly in Rogue One. You got to kind of freeze frame the scene. If you were to look at all those pilots running around in Rogue One, would one of them maybe fit the same characteristics as Omega? What about we got Andor season 2 coming up? Could we, and Andor season 2 is supposed to run us from about 5 years before A New Hope. For those of you that don't keep up with all the nerdy jargon with Star Wars, 5 BBY before the Battle of Yavin, which is A New Hope for the regulars out there. Right? If that's the case, could you go back and so that's 5 years before. The season 2 of Andor is supposed to work us 4, 3, 2, 1 right up to Rogue One, and Rogue One happens right up until A New Hope. So if you would go back in season 2 of Andor, could you see somebody who has the same general characteristics as Omega, who you could headcanon your way in to say, oh, I'll bet you that's her, right? Could you do that? Hey, I see Baymax in the chat. Baymax, he made it into our season leaderboard winners. We've got our regulars there. Brett Phillips. Brett, I don't have your contact information. So Brett, if you're watching, if you catch this later, reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook, Messenger, here on Discord or whatever. Reach out to me and I'll get your Star Wars Santa merch ordered and sent to you. But Baymax, another winner, he's won before, so he's going to get some more Star Wars Santa merch. He says, I could see Omega Easter egg in Andor season 2, but not necessarily a cameo. Yeah, perhaps just in the background for a brief second or two. Yes, that's sort of what I'm talking about, right? Could you go back and find any of that? Nick, if Omega's in Andor, I'm out. Why? Why? She could absolutely be in there. There's a connection, right? Omega could be the connection between Rebels and Andor. RF Gaming, hello. And we've got Rural Farm Boy, who has joined the the green room, as you like to call it. We'll bring Rural Farm Boy on the stream here in just 1 second. Let me get caught up with your chat first. Eli, feels like Disney execs looked at the ROI for Bad Batch and told them to wrap it up. Feels like there was another season. What did Ventress show up for? Where's Rex? The Omega ship. So much. Oh, Eli, I'm going to disagree with you just a bit, because we heard something to the effect of this only being planned for 3 seasons before. But I'll agree with you a bit as well in that animation, it does not get near the eyeballs on it as live action. Not even close, right? It's not in the same ballpark even, right? It's way out there, way below any live action. So even though a lot of us who have watched the Bad Batch, and many Star Wars content creators on social media platforms have watched the Bad Batch, many of us who have watched it say that the Star Wars animation, and I know my friend Yachty will agree with this, Star Wars animation is some of the best Star Wars there is outside of the movies. As far as storytelling goes, character development, all of it is concerned. It is very, very good. And I was watching Generation Tech. I was watching Alan's breakdown of it today. Alan made some really good points about it as well. On its own, it definitely stands up as quality Star Wars. Does it give them enough ROI to justify continuing the story through multiple seasons? Maybe, maybe not. Let me answer a couple of your other questions, because I've seen this come up as well. What's the whole Ventress bit about? Well, people were going on and on about Omega being force sensitive, and people had all these theories about her being force sensitive. People wouldn't shut up about her being force sensitive. So we bring in Ventress. Ventress is force sensitive. Ventress gives her the 3 tests. Omega fails all 3. Now, there was an argument that she passed one of the tests because she made it to the top of the mountain and back. No, she didn't. The test was, could you use the force to augment your speed to make it all the way up there and back? That's what the test was. Not could you ride your dog up there, get it, and ride the dog back, right? That's not what the test was. So Omega failed all 3. She did the thing out in the water, all of that. She failed. Omega wasn't force sensitive. And they're like, well, Ventress lied. Ventress is a liar. She lied. That's what she did. When she said no, she didn't. She knows no. How about this? How about Omega wasn't force sensitive? No, right? So what was Ventress as part of the story? It was to inform us as an audience, as fans of the show, to what Omega's abilities are and are not. Plus, it then introduces Ventress back to the storyline after the events of Dark Disciple. So we now get to look forward to seeing that storyline play itself out. Where's Rex? Why didn't Rex show up? This show wasn't about Rex. I would have loved to see him show up. I thought he was going to show up. When the cavalry arrived, I fully expected Rex and Wolf to show up, but they didn't, because this show isn't about them. This show is about the Bad Batch, and primarily it's about Omega. That's what the show's about. But maybe, and I hope. I was talking with Nerd Mafia a little this morning, because he asked a lot of the same sort of questions. Not exactly, but it's similar. We have this new series, and when it's going to be coming out here in another day, Tales of the Empire. Of course, we had Tales of the Jedi. We're hoping we get future seasons of Tales of the Rebellion, Tales of the Sith, Tales of all kinds of different story arcs, right? We very well could get Tales of the Rebellion that fill in the blanks. What happened to Echo? Where's Echo? I mean, he's not around in Rebels. He's here Where did he go? Did he die? What's going on? Uh, and to your question here, what about Rex? What about Rex and Wolf now? Where are they? What's going on there? I think all of that is our stories to be told. Ventress, Rex, Wolf, Echo. What about Emery? What about Fennec Shand? There are tons of stories to be told that have been set up, that have been kind of introduced to us, that we'll now have to go catch up to. So there you go. Could Omega be referring to the clone rebellion? She said it's her fight. Hey, it very well could be, Ruben. Very well could be. Let's see. Who else do we have? I want to, if I've skipped your chat and you'd like me to address it, bring it back. Bring it back. I'm just going to get caught up in the chat. It says I'm like 80 messages behind. Oh, I'm 100 messages behind. No, oh no. Santa's been yakking too much. Too much yammering. Here's Yachty. Please don't. Yachty loves her animated characters to stay in animation not because she's opposed to it on principle, but because she's opposed to it on execution. So far, the translation of animated characters introduced to us in animation, the translation to live action have not met Yachty's hopes and aspirations. So I'm trying to be nice about it, right? Now, the other way around, live action to animation, there's less to complain about. So I see Yachty. Don't bring her to live action. It's going to happen, Yachty. It's going to happen. Matt's still hoping for Rampart surviving. Matt, listen to me. There's as much chance that Rampart survived that we're going to see the Zillow Mommy, right? Zillow Mommy has just as much chance of appearing as Rampart surviving. That's just the way it is. Let me put it in other terms for you, Matt. There's just as much chance that Rampart survives as that the Ray movie will not be delayed. Actually, I think that's a better chance than Rampart survive. I think the Ray movie not being delayed is a much better chance of happening than Rampart not being dead. He's dead. He's dead. And I haven't forgot about your Rural Farm Boy. I see you there. I'll bring you in just in a moment. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm way behind. Let's see. It says Seth says the Rebels season 3, 4 soundtracks have been finally officially released, and as Jedi Mike points out, we do have a $1 a month membership on Patreon, and in there you can submit live stream questions that we'll bring into topics. Let's see. Scroll. I need to get caught up. Yeah. So Astromech Jeremy, hopefully we've already answered it. I'm curious where we are in the timeline. Rebels after A New Hope. I think we're somewhere between season 1 of Rebels and A New Hope. We're right in that timeline. I think that's exactly where we are. Let's see. Andor and Rebels. Will Omega run into any characters from Aftermath? Oh, there are all kinds of possibilities, aren't there? All kinds of possibilities. Scroll. Get caught up. My goodness. I'm way behind. It still says I'm more than 100 messages behind. So I'm going to scroll forward really fast. And if I have missed one of your comments, please put it back in the chat and I'll try to catch it again. I've just got to, the show was about Omega, not Rex. That's true. That's true. I know he's giving me a hard time. Echo is scouting bases for the rebellion and finds Hoth, dies in the process. Oh, Tales of the Rebellion could absolutely give us the rest of that story. Hey, EBN, my goodness, I've been watching some of your all's content, and I don't know if this is Coach or if it's Nick, but if either of you want to hit me up on Twitter, I'll send you the link to join here today if you'd like to talk. Otherwise, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for stopping in. I watch you guys quite a bit. Don't agree with you often, but I watch, and mostly I sympathize with you for having to put up with this guy, right? And I see that he trolls you as bad as or worse than me. And putting up with Matt Risman gives us a certain amount of brotherhood, right? We can we can sympathize with one another because he's a thorn in both of our sides, right? So I saw Coach say something about Matt Risman, giving him a hard time about his weight, but that's just wrong. It's mean. It's mean. All right, I've got to scroll and caught up. I keep falling way behind, way behind. There we go. I think I've caught up. Seth, my sister despises animation. When I was showing her clips to give her some content going into Ahsoka last weekend, she was talking about it like it was something lesser. She loved Ahsoka, though. Well, a lot of people feel that way. Yeah, I know. Look, I know. I assume this is Coach. He is super annoying. He's always hazing me, giving me a hard time, coming to my chat and hashtag raid delay all the time. Hey, rural farm boy.
Howdy, Santa.
Hey, thanks for waiting.
Not a problem. I see the shenanigans going on in the chat. It's worth the wait, and some of the
shenanigans are strong here. Yes.
Oh, there's a staple here.
See, Matt's been saying that Coach looks like Alvin and Chipmunks because he's like hoarding up his dinner in his cheeks. That's wrong. That's mean. That's just mean.
I wish I was much more familiar with Matt. I see him posting in the Discord and stuff. I still got to get me sorted on which rooms are posting what when. Do I have to go room by room and check all the new comments, or I still ain't quite sorted on how to figure out Discord just yet? No matter whose channel, whether it's yours or Meg's, which are probably two of them good. Active.
So what are your thoughts, RFB?
Oh, well, let's see. Out of the where are we at? 12:58. 20 minutes worth of catching up with the chat. One thing that stuck with me was my brother Jeremy up there in New York asking about where we're sitting in the timeline. Well, that would depend on when are you asking. And for the bad
at the end of the epilogue.
All right. In my mind, I've already been jumping around different parts of the Star Wars social media galaxy and various other info spots. Near as I can figure, before the epilogue ended, when season 1 ended, which was 18 years after Revenge of the Sith, on Pabu, when Omega rested her head on Hunter's arm, and then it faded. And I loved watching your first watch yesterday. That was a lot of fun. That was my second watch that I got to do it with you. That was 18 years. And then the flash forward, near as I can figure, with also weren't just my math work, with some pod friends and a couple YouTube friends, that was about, give or take, 8 to 10 years after we left them on Pabu. So Omega was 15 when season 1 ended. So she would be 25, give or take.
Give or take.
All right, so that would put it right around 2 years before Kenobi Solo, which is still another 4 years before season 1 of Rebels. So the rebellion is, by that point, is still individual little cells spread out all through the galaxy. That's as near as I can figure, and that's, I guess we would call that fan speculation, because there's nothing that I found that's concrete. Right. Lucasfilm has said, so take that for what you will. So if she was to cross paths with the Aftermath crew, then she would be about 40-ish. That's another 15 years, give or take. That's what I got from math-wise as far as timeline. If something's concrete, I will absolutely run it around to pass along and try to help as many friends as I can. But what did I think? Oh, there were many tears in many places.
Really good show.
Yeah. Very. I loved all 3 seasons for exactly what they were. I've heard over, what have we been, 3 or 4 years with it now. I've heard filler used many times. I've done a lot of talking back to folks talking to me from the past. Disagree with a lot of it. Season 2 to me was her picking up all the different things from one at a time from her brothers that they each had to teach her, from Hunter to Wrecker, being stuck in the cave before the Marauder got stolen with Tech. Yeah, that was her time picking up and learning from him. She had her time learning with Echo, not just to shoot the stolen Zygerian bow that she battlefield pickup, to everything. That was season 2, was learning all the different things from her brothers and then applying it all in season 3.
Let me bring in. We have a very special guest. It's
no, not special.
Yeah, look, I think the world of you. I think a great deal, and I can't watch a lot of your content, and we disagree. This is what look. This is one of the things I love about Coach, because you and I are brothers in the original trilogy is Star Wars. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Then once you get past the original trilogy, everything else is varying by degree, right? You and I also share less than a love for the prequel trilogy, right? It has its value. It's
you
there.
told me Rey was your favorite character in Star Wars.
She is.
Okay.
She is my character. And I'm starting with the things we agree on.
Oh, sure. Short list.
Yeah. We start with the things we agree on, in that the prequel trilogy is still something that I have to be in the right kind of frame of mind to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not my favorite by a long shot. Now, after that, we start to disagree. But you know what? We're still Star Wars fans, and we're still friends. I consider Coach to be a friend, even if I watch some of his takes on things like, oh, I just can't today.
Can you give me one of those? Like, are you sure it's not Nick? Are you sure it's me?
Well, it's mostly Nick. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Me and Nick don't agree all the time either. He usually takes a harder line than I do.
Yeah. No, I think you and I are pretty good. And I hang out with Jason Ward quite a bit, and he and I disagree quite a bit about a lot of things. But I try to be very purposeful about reaching out to people that don't agree with me, and showing that this fandom is not the hot mess that a lot of people like to say that it is.
Oh, it's not.
We can think what you will about any aspect of the franchise, but we're still friends.
It's amazing how people take things personally when you're talking about Star Wars. I completely agree.
Yeah, I was chatting with Meg this morning on Meg's Discord, and her and I were kind of tugging at different ends of a string, right? And she's talking about how, as somebody who's been critical of some Disney Lucasfilm, she gets called all kinds of terrible things. And I know that you guys have suffered with that quite a bit as well, right? You called all kinds of things.
I just had to run somebody off my porch this morning. No, I'm kidding. Yes.
Well, I said, try walking in my shoes for a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because as a sequel trilogy fan, and as you know, Rey is my favorite character in all of Star Wars. Well, in all the movies, live action. Ahsoka is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, but Rey is my favorite from the Skywalker saga. Well, that puts me in a certain bucket.
Yeah.
And being a member of
that, 4 people, not for everybody.
Right. Exactly. I get called all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with it on a daily basis, and I deal with it. It's fine. I was told the other day, I was chatting on something and said how the Acolyte, right? The Acolyte's coming. And boy, you want to stir up a hornet's nest. Just, mention the Acolyte.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I know you know.
Very, very divisive deal.
And we haven't seen an episode yet.
Nope.
We're all trying. A lot of this just has to do with where we start on the other stuff.
Our assumptions.
And assumptions. Exactly. And there's a lot of evidence that people can make some informed opinions about, right?
Well, to your point, I assumed that X-Men 97 was going to be awful. I thought it was going to be agenda-ridden, not the X-Men I grew up with. And you know what? I was wrong. It's fantastic.
I've watched it. I wasn't a big X-Men fan earlier. And so when I was a kid or growing up or in my 20s. So I heard so many good things about X-Men 97. I went and watched it. I was like, man, it's fine. It's fine. Just because I don't have a big investment in the franchise, right? Yeah. And I'm just like, it seems like a fine show. But in any event, what I wanted to mention about the Acolyte, I saw something going on about it and people saying a bunch of terrible things. And I was just like, you know what? I'm hoping it's going to be great. I want it to be wonderful. And I haven't seen a thing yet. So I'm going to be tuning in to watch. Yeah. And then I got a comment back telling me what a woke warrior I am. And I'm like,
of course. You get called that, and I get called the following. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Incel, bigot, racist, MAGA, and everything. And so I just now started typing that for people when they're coming at me in comments. I'm like, here, did I cover it all?
Right. Let's just get this taken care of. I do the same with the shield moniker. I'm like, fine, tattoo it on my forehead. I'm fine with that. I'm just going to wear it, and we move on, because I am not a fan of all Disney Star Wars. I've been a general fan of most of it, and we each like different things for whatever reasons. And
those people that come after you, Santa, for being a shill or whatever, a lot of them don't like me either. People assume that the other side of it, if you want to call it that they all love EBN. They all don't, because we're still talking about Star Wars. And there's this group that says, you're still breathing life into it. It's dead. Leave it alone. Da-da-da-da-da. I always want Star Wars to be great.
Yeah.
But when it's not great for me, I no longer take it personally, and I don't let it ruin my day anymore. I have fun with it no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a much healthier place to be. And I'm just a hair older than you, not a whole lot. But I'm a bit older, and I got to a place in my life where I was very activist. And I've mentioned this before. I founded the College Republicans at Ohio State. And if you know, at Ohio State Marion campus, Marion, Ohio, I founded it. I was the chairman of it. And if you know anything about college Republicans, they tend to be a little activisty, right? They tend to be a little noisy. And we were, we were out doing the things. I've been in parades. I've carried banners. I've done the things. I've protested things. I've boycotted things. I was really mad at Disney for a very long time. And I just was like, no, not doing that. So what at the end of the day, what I did is I excluded myself from having a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And I decided, you know what? I'll go to Disney. I'll take my kids, and my kids loved it. And I still hear things and see things when I'm there that I'm like, oh Lord, help me get past this and just enjoy my family, enjoy the day.
Yeah.
And not let that detract me.
I had people unsubscribing from the channel because I went to Disney with my family just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, like people, like I said, I get called like a woke warrior. I'm like, if you only knew.
Yeah. Well, so the first time I had a conversation with you, everybody had been saying, you guys need to have Star Wars Santa on. You guys need to have Star Wars Santa on. And it was right. Our channel had just grown from like 3,000 people to like 17,000 people in a matter of 2 months.
Yeah.
And everybody, all these influx of new people coming into our live streams were like, y'all got to talk to Star Wars Santa, because people were realizing that we're open to talking with anybody.
Yeah.
It's not personal, and you came onto the show and we asked you all of the questions, and you were so polite, and you said exactly what you thought, and you gave such good reasons for why Rey is your character, is your favorite character. And it was personal to you. Who can knock that? Who that is beyond ridiculous for anybody to say anything.
Yeah.
About you and your opinion and who is your favorite. So what? You have every right to have a favorite of whoever you choose. I might not agree with you for myself, but I certainly respect your opinion and understand because you articulated it well.
Well, thank you. And I likewise, I've learned that people, and I learned this primarily about myself during the prequel era, that there's some Star Wars I just don't like.
Yeah.
And I don't like it because of lots of reasons. Lots and lots of reasons. Are some of my reasons bad? Maybe. It's some of my reasons because I don't like George Lucas's politics. Yes. And I didn't like what he put in the prequel trilogy that annoyed me. Yeah, that's 100% part of what I dislike, right? At the same time, I like the sequels, and I could see people rejecting them on a lot of the same basis that I reject the prequels. I'm like, you know what? You don't like the sequels. That's good. You're fine. I understand. Not every flavor's for everybody. And if you can move on with your life, that's fine. And just try to be happy, enjoy life. Sure. And we can be friends. And it's great because like you, I endure Moff Rizman's attacks.
Constant,
I know.
Daily basis.
It never stops. I don't know if you've heard this. I'm dying for somebody to get hold of Jerry Seinfeld and get Jerry Seinfeld doing like he does with Newman. I want him to do Rissman.
Yes.
Like I need that as a clip.
Yep.
Right. I need that. You guys will use it. I'll use it. It'll be everywhere.
Oh, we would love to use that.
If anybody can find Jerry Seinfeld and get him to do that, I'll pay.
Well,
if you go to a convention or something where you can walk up and get a signature, and you go up to a signature and you say, "Hey, could you say this for us and record it?" I'll pay you for it.
Yeah,
I gladly pay you for your time in line or the signature you got, just so I can use that. Yeah.
Well, he knows how much we appreciate him, and he's one of my very best friends. So
I know
he and I disagree on stuff, but we laugh all the time. All the time.
Yeah, he's great. He is. All teasing aside, he's
And if
very
I do something
supportive.
stupid, guess what? He tells me.
Oh, and then he'll never let you forget.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
mean, I'm having to deal with Mama Zillow. We're going to get back to the Bad Batch, but I was watching the Bad Batch episode when the Zillow Beast came in there, and I thought I saw a little Zillow Beast and a big Zillow Beast. I thought I saw both. I was wrong. Will Risman let me go?
No.
No.
He'll always bring it up.
Yeah, he's always like,
He
"Where's
keeps
Mama
track
Zillow?"
of your losses. For
He
sure.
does. He's the best though. He gives me content. He helps me quite a bit. He's been supportive. We were on our trip down to Florida, and he bought us dinner. It was great. He's a great person. He really is. But at the same time, there's a reason he's a moth.
We call him Darth Simpus.
There's that too. So, Coach, you watched the Bad Batch?
First 3 episodes.
Yeah,
and I didn't hate it. It just didn't grab me, and I am, I'm sure once the summertime hits and I've got the summer off, being a school teacher, I will casually go through it and finish it. But at this point, I have no idea what you're talking about. I hadn't watched it, and it just hasn't been very high on my priority list. My time is very, very limited right now.
Yeah.
I have to really want to watch something to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's just where I am with it.
No, I get it. And I know other folks who have just checked out. They're just like, that's not the story they're invested in.
Yeah, that's how.
And they're just like, I'm not invested in that story. You can go ahead and tell it, but it's not the story I want to watch.
But I'm looking forward to Tales of the Empire. I really am.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's short. Now, I'm not crazy about Morgan Elsbeth's tale. I really, but looking at the teaser, hey, it looks like it could be pretty interesting. So I don't know. I'm going to check it out. Plus, it's a limited series. It's short. It's not going to be like 3 seasons of it. It's a much easier watch. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you're talking about maybe 7-minute episodes times 3. And there's going to be some tie-in to Thrawn. There's going to be tie-ins to other things as part of Elsbeth, her story. Even if you're not invested in Elsbeth, it's learning about what else is going on. And the Night Sisters as a whole, there's something to that, right? Sure. So take or leave her, but the story around her might be compelling. And as you say, it's 3 short episodes.
Yeah.
And Tales of the Empire, I'm very excited about. And we just have a couple of days. And you're going to go watch the Phantom Menace again?
So I'm going to actually talk to my oldest daughter today and see if I could sucker her into going with me. The last time I saw it in the theater is when they re-released it on 3D.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably been 9 or 10 years ago. But yeah, I do think this weekend I will head to the theater and give it a watch. I just watched Alien 45th re-release. Loved it. It was fantastic. You got to support the old movies that are great when they re-release them. If nobody goes, they'll stop doing it.
The movie industry as a whole, if there's something you like, support the theaters.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble. And
now there's that crowd that says, don't go because you're giving Disney the money. This is, and look, episode 1 is my least favorite of the George Lucas movies. But there's some really great parts in it. And, it's worth going and reliving it. I was there on opening night, watched it 3 times the first 2 days.
Yeah.
It brings back good memories.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was and I defended the Phantom Menace for a long time because I didn't think it was as bad as people were saying it was until the wheels came off for me during Attack of the Clones. And then I was like, okay. And I've seen the same pattern happen with the sequels. Like a lot of people were like, okay, Force Awakens, so it wasn't everything for me, but let's check it out. And then The Last Jedi come out, and then the wheels came off, and they're like, okay, both of those movies suck. So that was
That's me. That's what happened to me. I thought The Force Awakens was the fourth best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And then once I saw The Last Jedi, it had a terrible residual after effect for me. I can't watch any of them now.
Yeah. And much like you, I'm very busy. I cannot make time to go see The Phantom Menace this weekend. I just can't. So it's as much as I would love to support the movie theater. My youngest daughter is now a manager for AMC.
Oh, nice.
So I would love to help her
Are you getting the poster?
industry, but I just can't do it. Maybe, I don't know. It will. I'm just not going to make it.
Are you getting the poster? Because the poster is sweet.
I don't have plans to.
Okay, I'm getting
but
it.
Maybe she'll grab one for me.
Yep.
You know,
Santa, buddy.
Yep.
I hate to run. I
know you do.
Short.
I wanted to focus on you because I knew you were limited on time. I really appreciate you dropping in, Coach. And
my pleasure. I wish I could do this more often.
I phantom watch you guys from time to time. I try to stay out of the way to not.
You're never in our way.
Oh no, but you know, there are folks that I just don't want to have to argue with.
Hey, if they don't like you, they could leave.
I hear you.
You're
God bless you, my friend. Have a wonderful day.
You too. You too.
I'll catch you later.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. RFB, you're back. And Meg is in the chat. Megan, I absolutely adore Meg. And as I was saying, we were having a little bit of a tiff this morning. I love her. I absolutely love her. And we can argue about things and still be friends, right? And so Meg, and I know there's some other things that Meg's always in my thoughts and prayers, and one of my best friends in the world. And thanks for dropping into the chat, Meg. You mean the world to me. So RFB,
yes, sir.
We touched on a bunch of different topics there with Coach as well. Are you catching the Phantom Menace this weekend?
No, sir, I am not. Unlike many, I have more time than most. I've got plenty of time to go see it. Both of my girls are, real life has them all manner of tied up. Neither one has their own transportation at the moment, and both know that if they have the want to come sit with dad and go watch, I would gladly in a heartbeat go pick them up and say, let's go to the theater. It's only 5 miles that way. I'll pay for the tickets. They just don't have much of an interest right now. And I'm not in a frame of mind of wanting to go by myself. It would be like, what's the point? I can just sit here and watch it on Disney Plus or off of my external hard drive where I have the whole saga and everything else to go with it.
And I know you follow Bespin Bulletin as well. Did you see Bespin's post about the Acolyte trailer that leaked?
Yeah, I have yet to go. I bookmarked that. I think I come across it yesterday, right before I left my work day, with every intent of going and watching. I think he said it was right around 2 minutes of footage that somebody managed to capture. And so far it has not been blocked off of the Twitterverse. And I'm now I know what I'm doing after the stream right now. I'm going to go look at that. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things about that. And I go back to something that Meg told me when she's in London, England, not London, Ohio, but she's in London, England. We don't have accents like that in London, Ohio. They don't talk like she does. But so anyway, they had a screening out there where she was able to watch I think it was the first 3 episodes. I want to think it was of Andor season 1. I think that was it. And watching that in a theater with other Star Wars fans, you get that shared experience. And
Oh,
what I
absolutely.
found interesting from what Bestman shared is it's a taken on somebody's cell phone in the theater sideways. So you got to watch you got to watch the trailer like that, because
Mm-hmm.
if you turn your phone, it'll reorient on you. But but they recorded it like sideways, and
Mm-hmm.
you could hear the crowd in there reacting to the trailer, and that crowd, that shared experience, that crowd interaction, to me was pretty exciting. Like you didn't hear
Oh,
booing, you
absolutely.
didn't hear like people like crickets, you heard cheers. And
Heard
it,
wonderment.
yeah, it sounded really exciting. Part of me wants to go see Phantom Menace this weekend, just so I can have that shared experience with other Star Wars fans. Because I spend so much time sitting in my basement watching Star Wars alone, right? My wife's not a
Mm-hmm.
huge Star Wars fan. My kids have grown and moved out, and you guys are my audience, right? You guys are my shared experience, and having you to talk to is what I get to share my enjoyment with. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes after this weekend. And the folks who go see Phantom Menace and see the trailer in a theater, and see that Acolyte trailer in a theater with a group of Star Wars fans, how well it's received there. And I know my friend Meg will. She's going. She's a big prequels fan.
Mm-hmm.
There's no keeping Meg out of that theater, and so
No, that's her
being able to
generation. That's her generation Star Wars.
absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
yes.
yeah, yeah. I'm a basement dweller. That's me. Just I've got my Mio energy in uh, my studio. I'm good.
Well, you're not the only Santa. I don't have a basement. I'm on a second floor of an apartment building, so I'm in a similar sort of shuttlecraft, if you will, with you. Pretty much a homebody dweller, just kind of Star Wars in on my own. Uh, a lot of the listening that I've been doing over the past few days, folks with their uh, ticket reservations, which is still weird to me because I don't do anything online for. If I'm going to my local theater, I'm going in there and paying the $6 or $7. They hand me the paper ticket, and then I go sit my butt down in the seat. I don't really pre-reserve tickets or anything like that. Never done such a thing. Never gone to a theater where they bring food to your seat. I'm thinking that's more. If I want to go eat, I'm going to go to a restaurant. If I'm going to go to theater, I'm going to go see a film. But
Well,
that's me.
the theatrical experience is changing. They had to adapt, and they need to continue to adapt. So,
Absolutely.
Sabersmith says, if I didn't have the community or my students, I would be a basement dweller as well. Right? Yeah. So, um, I know the day we moved into, you will one day go to the theater. Well, when you go to your local theater and you buy tickets, do you not get an assigned seat when you buy your ticket? Oh, it's coming. You will. They're assigned seats, and they're recliners, and you're gonna say this is your seat. You go in, you're in B14 and B15, something like that.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, it's
Well, that'll
coming.
be the day that hits rural Western Pennsylvania.
It's coming. I know. It's not in, like you said, rural. We
Mm-hmm.
are in our local theater. It's not that way yet, but they have, from what I understand, my oldest daughter worked there for a brief time. They have the recliners. They have everything there to do it. They just haven't installed it yet. Yeah. There are some theaters where they'll bring the food to you. That's not the case yet. There's a few other topics out there, but I want to let you. I've been yammering on and on. I haven't let you really express much. The Bad Batch season series finale. First question, do you think we're going to see Omega in another series outside of animation or no?
If I'm ever one thing, it's always hopeful. We definitely do know that behind those Lucasfilm walls, not the Disney ones, the Lucasfilm ones. Yeah, those ones. I've been wanting to get on your case about that. We spoke about that a few months ago, and all of a sudden I kept hearing it, and I'm like, oh boy, Santa done fell off the wagon, or some sort. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Disappeared.
we blipped and we were gone.
And
We said Disney too many times, and they cut us off. No,
no, we didn't. I did.
yeah, I only mentioned
Did I?
Disney Lucasfilm to segment the era, right? I know that it's an era of, but I always push back, and I did to Meg this morning. It's part of what we got in a little argument about, because she said, "I don't think Disney cares about blah 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 blah." I'm like, I don't know what Disney has to do with anything, but it's Lucasfilm that they, yeah.
It is. It's always been since 2015.
Right. But I will use the Disney prefix just so that folks know that I know it's the Disney Lucasfilm era, but outside of that, it's Lucasfilm making these decisions, not Disney. Yeah.
Yes, sir. To answer your question, do I think, in my opinion, will we see more Omega? Well, they introduced us to her for a reason when she was about 12 years old. And now she's 15 / 10 more years, 25, and fixing to be a pilot, fixing to hook up with a cell of the rebellion somewhere in the galaxy. And her story's not over yet. So yeah, like I said previous, if I'm one thing ever, it's hopeful. Somewhere inside the Lucasfilm walls, there's whiteboards already with story ideas filled from left to right, top to bottom, with ideas on what they want to tell with whoever they may be. That may involve likely Mr. Filoni, that might involve Brad and Jen, that might involve a whole nother group of storytellers. We don't know yet, but is it possible? It's very possible Omega is going to be in more stories. We'll see what that is.
I think that they've set up something here with the Bad Batch, with Omega being the hero of the Bad Batch, the main character of the Bad Batch. And with that epilogue, moving us into a series of stories, or perhaps a movie like the Patty Jenkins, Rogue Squadron movie, if that ever gets off the ground, in whatever iteration it ever may become. As KG said, I wonder if they do a Rogue Squadron Top Gun project with Omega, maybe a Disney Plus series or anything else. I would think that there is the very distinct possibility of seeing a pilot focused series, perhaps with Hera and Omega. I think that's very possible, very likely.
There's chatter all over Star Wars social media verse of folks, asking, would that be possible with a live action Omega, live action Hera in some or other time period, with somewhere in the Rise of the Empire time, with still maybe 10, 12 more years in between where they left off with her, and or A New Hope, somewhere in there. Could it be? It could be anywhere. Is that possible? Sure, it's possible. Are they talking about it? Possibly.
Yeah. Quentin said he was shocked that she lived, to be honest. And that's where that was my first message I got this morning from Nerd Mafia. He's like, wait, Omega lived? and he was shocked as well. He was thinking she was going to die. And
Before
in
you
the
take that comment down, there's a key
Yeah.
word right in the middle of that sentence that speaks to what he was saying.
yeah,
If you can find it, it's he was shocked that she lived, to be honest. I was
right.
expecting. There it is right there.
Yeah, and the so that's what I was going to ask you. Did you expect, or did you think that we would see more members of the Bad Batch die in this season or the finale? You know, last season we lost Tech. Did you think we were going to lose anybody in this finale?
Let's see how well Santa knows me.
I know your answer.
What's the one thing I expect of Star Wars, Santa?
To let them tell the story.
Yeah,
Right?
tell me a story.
Yeah.
That's all I expect. Anything more than that. I was watching friends an audio podcast that's lately over the past couple months have been doing live streams and then inviting folks to the chat and then later on flipping it over into audio. And one of them, since I want to say season 2, they're a family. They're cousins, more or less, and a best friend. They all kind of grew up together. One of them had some severe expects to the point where I think some of the crew of our pod could help you out, Lucasfilm, with some writing. And I'm thinking that's already happening, friends. Right now, there are folks writing these stories that are fans, just like us, just like you. Yeah, they just have the good fortune of being able to work for Lucasfilm and tell those stories.
Yeah.
Would they pick you up to be able to do that? As I don't really think so, because maybe some of your ideas wouldn't fit for how Lucasfilm would want to tell those Star Wars stories.
Right.
I have lots of expectations.
I understand that about you, but we're talking to this isn't just you and me talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have some other folks out there listening.
Absolutely.
So, no, you did. Coming into the season, I did feel like Crosshair might have his redemption arc complete with him sacrificing his life, but I kind of felt like everybody else was going to live. And the way that they handled that by chopping off his right hand, which was his shooting hand, which was also quivering and shaking, kind of, and again, I think Alan at Generation Tech, I think it was him or it was Screen Crush. I can't remember. I was watching those videos this morning. One of them explained the symbolic nature of that hand representing his story arc. And by cutting it off, it cut off the past. It cut off that identity of who he was and set him to go forward. And I thought that was really well done and very Star Wars-y way to handle that.
Maybe the way to say it, that was the trauma that the Empire had inflicted upon him, trying to convert him into an operative, and having cut that off, done away with that trauma.
Saber Smith said, did anyone else feel the goodbye between Hunter and Omega was a last goodbye? I don't know about last, but it was her moving on to the next phase of life. You know, when your kids move out of the nest and they go out and they start their own lives. And like my youngest daughter who lives out in Kansas City, her leaving to go to Kansas City felt to me like Omega going off, you know, to do that. Will she come back and visit her dad or dads? Yeah, I think so. Will they, you know, be in touch? Sure. But absolutely, I think that's the case. No, but I didn't think it was a last goodbye, but it certainly marked the end of that phase of her life where she was in their household, if you want to look at it that way. And I love this comment Astromech Jeremy put. It's where I think we could see Omega meeting a young Nora Wexley.
Ooh.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. I like that.
I like it too. And KG gets it too, right? Expectations can ruin it for you. That's 100% it.
That's right, sis.
Yeah. Baymax says, I expected Ray to be a solo a la Legends. when she wasn't, had a downer. Speculation and expectations can slap you in the face. Oh, 100%. 100%. And as it goes with Ray's story, I expected her to be a clone. And for her to be the natural daughter of a clone was close, but it took some adjustment in my mind to get it there. Oh, we got somebody else ready to join us. Let's see, just get caught up. Let's see. I don't want to fall too far behind in the chat again. Fast forward, Gonki gets accidentally left behind when Omega's scouting for Kenobi on Tatooine. And Gonki's picked up by the Jawas. Oh no. Oh no. That's the Gonki's story. He ends up on that sand crawler in New Hope. Fantastic. So Santa only likes Ray because he believes he called it. Well, no, but it had more to do. I want to do a big breakdown at some point. I've been re-listening to the audiobook versions of the sequel trilogy, and I'm so in love with the sequel trilogy. I rewatched them right before vacation. I've been listening to the audiobooks again, and I want to do a big breakdown on her story, but there's a lot more to her than that. But Jedi Mike finally made it.
There he is. Michael.
The Force willed it.
Yes, the Force did. The will of God, God's timing for me.
All right. Well, Mike, we've gone on for over an hour, but you're just joining us. What are your thoughts here about the end of the Bad Batch series, Omega's time jump there at the epilogue, and the future for her character? What do you think?
I think the future is definitely Andor or Ahsoka, something in the Filoni verse. I'm fine with that. I put in the chat Dr. Aphra is what I think is coming next. I mean, why not put her with Dr. Aphra, man? Like, Lucasfilm Publishing has a lot of open space. I am happy with the ending. It was emotional. And yeah, there were a lot of loose threads, but I'm ready for June, right? I'm ready for May the 4th and like exciting things that we're going to get in the next couple of days. Curiosity right in the middle. That's why I'm the Bendu.
Yeah. And so you just raised a couple of really good points that I touched base on earlier, but I want to just bring it up. Where's Echo's story go from here? What happened to Echo? And where do you think we might see Rex and Echo and Wolf and Gregor? We have a gap between here and Rebels. Are we going to see them anymore?
I think this is slowly letting the Clone Wars go. Like, why did we not get these threads pulled together? I think they're just telling us, let it go. And we have an Ahsoka, Dr. Aphra, Sabine level female character. We got the Acolyte stuff coming. We've hit the saturation point, right? You already had a Coach on today. We've jumped the shark already. Like, we've seen this. If you're in the quantum, we've already been here. Like, we know what's coming, I think. Yeah. Now, it's exciting.
I think Tales of the Rebellion could be an excellent way to cover those stories in short little snippets that fill in the gap. And that's what Tales of seems to be, right? It gave us Tales of the Jedi, told us some backstory to Ahsoka, right? Told us some backstory to Count Dooku, right? Tales of the Empire coming out shortly. Super exciting to get some of those backstories for Morgan Elsbeth tied into the Ahsoka verse, right? Or the Mando verse.
Yep.
And to what happened with the what's her name? I always forget her name. Tales of the Empire, the other story.
Barris?
Barris Hoppy?
Barris, oh yeah, Barris.
Yeah,
Getting
I mean,
Barris.
that's super interesting. Baymax is right about the Cal Kestis show. We're more likely to get the Cal Kestis show because he's that quality of actor, right? Rosario and him, like, again, this is the future. Like, all these Tales things are going to fold into the publishing because eventually people are going to be getting it on screens. Like, you know, like people are going to be consuming these tales of this and tales of that in a different way. Like, we were nerd binging yesterday on the DL, right? Doing like Marvel Image Comics publishing stuff, getting really sweaty about how the publishing Marvel industry and independent stuff has gone in and out of time and space. And so with the new way that publishing is going to be unfolding in the future, I think they know what's happening at Lucasfilm. Like, they know.
Will we see Barris die in Tales of the Empire? Oh.
I think a good way to answer that is with a question. How?
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you know what? We're going to know very soon.
Die or not anymore. Like, we're going to start, like, are we going to get some resolution of why people do come on and off the path? Is that going to be even important? Like, you see how, like, they're kind of maybe letting us go with how the Rex story is going to go. And it wasn't Captain Cody, the mysterious person. Like, they're slowly going to let things be where they are supposed to level out. Because we got a lot of High Republic stuff. We got all kinds of Rogue Squadron stuff. Like, we got a lot of time and space, let alone the fourth dimension of the world between worlds and the fifth and whatever.
Yeah. I am so in love with the concept of a Tales of series.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this before. Coach kind of talked about one of the things he really likes is that they're really short.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Tales of expanded. Instead of each season we get 6 stories. How about each season we get like 30 stories, 10 stories of 3 arcs, you know? I would be absolute. Yeah. And it could switch from Tales of the Empire to Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of the Rebellion, right? I am absolutely in love with the concept of Tales of, and I am so excited for this Tales of the Empire. I can't wait. It's coming.
That's a whole galaxy of tales of. That's a whole galaxy of stories.
Right, and that's where we need someone like Trev or Dan on Tap, Daniel Fisher, to come on, because the manga community, they understand, like I said, what's about to happen. Like, I think they understand how, well, last night with the Image Comics, when it went away from Marvel and DC and it became the independent people that were producing comics, they all kind of had like their person, right? Filoni's got Ahsoka or Thrawn, and this person has this person and that person. Like, Lucasfilm Publishing understands how it's probably changing with the times, and some of it reflects old publishing history that we can learn from, maybe.
Tales of the Droids. You know, that we were told in that infamous where Kathleen Kennedy got on stage and had all those icons. A droid story was one of those things that were up there behind her. And we've heard Zilcho on a droid story. There were so many rumors about that moving forward because Anthony Daniels did some mocap and there was a ton of things, right?
Well,
and so
the Lucasfilm Showcase panel. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Astromech Jeremy is like the best. And I know he's a spiritual person, and this is taunting him, but it's going to make his craft better. He's going to be a better actor because he has to deal with this, like, pulling the rug out, like Lucy in the football. Sorry, Jeremy, but
no, I Tales of the Droids. So a droid story seems to be in limbo, but Tales of the Droids could absolutely happen, and we could follow the story of any 2 droids, right? You could follow any 2, and each season you could throw in a season here, throw in a season there, and that could absolutely be a winner, right? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Baymax says ILM was producing that droid story. It must have been a bust. Well,
Or
we just
they're
don't
folding it into something, right? ILM X Lab and the VR space, like who knows what they're doing, man? They got the magic. They got all the strings behind there. They're pulling them all. They're weaving them all. Like they are craftsmen of tapestries.
And I agree with Mike Porter. Let's get a movie before we all die of old age, right? Like I'm absolutely ready for a movie. And to Meg's point earlier, like the general audience as a whole for Star Wars is immense. It's absolutely immense.
Yeah, that
And
Mando Grogu movie is going to be awesome.
the number of people that are engaged in the current Disney content outside of Grogu, right? Right, that got caught in the COVID wave with Mandalorian season 1. The number of people that are not engaged with Star Wars animation, Star Wars publishing, Lucasfilm publishing, any of that, right? They're just not, and there's no amount of convincing that would bring them in. A movie is what the franchise needs, and the Mando Grogu movie is spot on. The Rey movie will absolutely has the potential to be huge, right? They got to be compelling stories. They have to be compelling stories. It can't be about representation. It can't be about some agenda. It's got to be a compelling story, right? Where you teach lessons in the course of your story, like George Lucas did, right? He taught lessons in the course of his story, but it wasn't about the
Ryan
lesson.
Johnson was teaching lessons. It was just painful to throw the lightsaber over the shoulder. Like it's going to be painful when you realize that there is an infinite amount of information in between the 0 and the 1, right? If you're not a coder, get ready.
KG said maybe Skeleton Crew connects to the path. Maybe I think Skeleton Crew overlaps with the Mandoverse era, though. From what I understand, so that might not be in scope, but we'll find out. I see Mike Porter in the chat, and while I see him, and I want to get to the Mike Porter dad joke, I did take a little bit of liberty with Mike Porter's dad joke today. So if there's any criticism, blame Santa for messing with perfection. He's the chosen pun for a reason, and I'm not. So I did take a little bit of liberty with the Mike Porter dad joke. He said, "What happens when the Bad Batch gets old?"
I did not see it. I don't know.
Well, you have to check the batch date to make sure they haven't expired. You got to make sure they haven't expired. There, that's good. Mike Porter, thank you for that. And
he is indeed the chosen for a reason.
He is. Mike, go ahead.
No, I'm just telling Mike to stay healthy. I wonder if he's going to the Phantom Menace. I haven't seen in the chat. I think they have a subscription. That's retired life.
Okay. My youngest is trying to get hold of me. So I just taking care of family matters. So there we go. We have the Acolyte trailer as a part of the Phantom Menace. Mike, have you seen that trailer?
I've seen the trailer. Yeah, I love the Acolyte.
Did you watch it sideways on Bestman's article?
No. I'm not going to the Phantom Menace yet. I just wondered if anybody else. That's a good topic that people brought up.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear first person accounts of seeing that trailer. Astrobek Jeremy is going to go see it, and the other 8. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic, Jeremy.
I didn't know they were running that. I guess
yeah, it's a re-release of the entire saga. all 9 movies in total. So the Phantom Menace and the other 8, all 9. That's a commitment. That's a commitment.
They actually saying it's like Andor. They're going to show a whole clip, like they did whatever movie that was.
Yeah, it's over. It's a little over 2 minutes worth of content. Yeah, it's not a trailer. It is a clip. It's like trailers tend to cut. You know,
right. Well, the clip on Bespin I haven't done. No,
it's over 2 minutes of straight content, and it's one part of the story, and it is fantastic. Jeremy, I know we're friends here on the chat, but we're also friends in like Twitter and
Discord.
And I connected to him in his what's that other social app? Instagram. He has a fantastic Instagram. Jeremy, I want to know first person account of the audience reaction in the theater when they played that sequence. I want to know, did people cheer? Was it positive? Was it crickets? What was it mixed? Like, what was the mood in the room when you see that clip? I want to know that. So, send me, from the Acolyte.
Okay.
From the Acolyte. From the recorded version that Bespin posted, it was electric, right? It was very, very strong. I want to know what it's like in New York. What's it like in London?
For Jeremy's sake, so he understands what you meant. Okay.
Yeah, he knows. I want first. Yeah, he'll be my astromech reporting live on the scene. Fantastic. Oh, I need to know. I want to know what it's like in London. I want to know what it's like in New York. I want to know what it's like in, across the around the world. I've seen one clip from one location and it was fantastic. So I want to know what it's like, of people, warm to it, because if all you do is look at social media and the social media responses to the Acolyte, it's just a hot mess. But what do fans in the theater think?
Well, okay, I also want to know, what do you know from making Star Wars and Bespin? What are we going to get in the next couple of days with teasers and new drops and stuff? Because I've tried to be unbiased about it in the same way. I don't know that trailer. I haven't seen that sequence yet. What are we going to get? Do you know stuff that we're going to drop? Toys or anything?
There's some things that
we're going to get a Star Wars celebration date. Sorry.
No, great question. Great question, Mike. I appreciate the softball. Yes, there is a big release coming out from Hasbro. They had kind of shared that they were going to reveal the next HasLab project. It was a vintage collection HasLab project, like we've had the Ghost, and we've had the Razor Crest. There was Jabba's sail barge. The next one was to be announced tomorrow, and now that's been postponed. So there's a lot of pushback in the community. They had planned to reveal that, as well as some other things. Now they've kind of regrouped. We're going to get entirely different reveals from vintage and Black Series collectors. So those are coming. I've saw today on my Discord a lot of reveals of what Hot Toys. They have a big sequence of things that they're releasing, including Dark Empire Luke Skywalker, Darth Maul, and Speeder Hot Toys version. There's a whole collection: Lord Starkiller, Darth Revan. The Hot Toys is killing it, absolutely killing it. So we're getting a bunch of that in the next little bit. Seth says some of the Hasbro Black Series reveals just leaked.
And
so
Baymax says some stuff must be in the Discord, and I just didn't see it. Hey, before I forget, last time I was on with you, I had a premonition of a blurg, like the like the Tauntaun that we had from Empire Strikes Back. It's a blurg that opens up and you can put the feet in, right?
Oh.
So like Ray or someone can go in the blurg like the old, like they should recreate that functionality. Anyway.
Well, they're doing it a little bit different. They've released in the vintage collection some of the features of the latest ones. They have swivel hips so that they can truly ride like a tauntaun or
Yeah, but that trapdoor tauntaun where you put the legs in, like Han's legs, that's the best way to make a blurg.
Well,
I tried to say it out loud last time, but I'm not the best.
No, they actually have swivel hips so that you can position their legs on the blurg properly without having them kind of locked together where they would go down in that chamber. So in this case, the blurg with Mandalorian that they're releasing, he will have the swivel hips that allow him to ride the blurg without them being like straight out, you know.
I just called them AARP Star Wars hips because we're old.
Oh, so good. RF Gaming
by
says,
the way, RFB, that story about your daughters, peak. Like that's it. That's the whole stream today. I love you, brother.
RF Gaming says he's going to be streaming new Star Wars content coming to Fortnite Lego on his podcast channel. So look for Jabbo Radio Show, and he'll put the description in the Discord, so you can go hang out with him tomorrow. Get more information on the re-release of the Phantom Menace. Is there new scenes or enhancements? No, it's truly a re-release. The only thing coming with it is the thing from the Acolyte, that scene that's in there.
And why aren't they releasing the 3D? Like, I don't understand the intellectual property behind that. Dude, throw out the 3D one. Like RFB said, it was delicious the last time we saw it.
It's
Coach.
I think 3D is kind of run its last wave of popularity. Like 3D tends to run in cycles, right? And I think it's kind of past. It's not the gimmick that people want. So I think that's it. What else do I know? We should get, not only is that Acolyte thing coming out with the trailer in the Phantom Menace, I would expect that following the weekend, we'll get that released in proper on StarWars.com or Star Wars's YouTube page.
Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be able to watch that directly. Otherwise, there's a bunch of marketing stuff. There's things you can buy.
Is there a Force Friday back to school announcement, or is there anything for the fall? Any landing windows, anything that Jason's hinted at that I haven't heard about? I guess.
No, there's nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm looking at Bespin's Patreon right now.
Yeah.
And over the past 3 days, any announcements that he's given for forthcoming whatnot is mostly like what Santa had mentioned, and mostly Fortnite.
The only thing that people are speculating about, and it's created a little bit of a buzz, is that I believe it was Ewan McGregor. I think it was Ewan McGregor went in and did a recording at Lucasfilm, and they thought that he was going to announce a Kenobi season 2, but no, that's not at all happening. 0% of that. He most likely will be talking about the prequel movies and some reminiscence to some degree out there with that. Absolutely not a Kenobi season 2 announcement. Yeah.
No.
I think we'll see him just like we see Qui-Gon. I think they'll bring some cameo thing back in live action in a way that somehow makes us like paper over Kenobi. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's all you're going to get. Nothing And like we have a wave of merch stuff, like the toys, the Hot Toys, Hasbro. There's a bunch of things that Disney's releasing from a merchandise standpoint. And then we get that long scene from Acolyte that you don't have to watch that was on somebody's phone sideways. That'll be released. So you can go to Bestman Bulletin and look at his article about it, and he's got it embedded in the article, and you can just click on it and watch it directly in that article.
Cool.
I'm doing that after this stream.
Yeah. All right.
Last part of we're back to Bad Batch disappointment and so many threads. I heard you guys mention Asajj, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that Dark Disciple T is that's out there for us to like just right. That's why they didn't give us any more Asajj. Asajj, what we don't know is better. It's better than anything they can give us, right? There's like certain parts of that I believe the mouse is feeding into.
Maybe. I expect we will get more of her story. Just stay tuned. All right. But for now, what it does is kind of builds a little anticipation, hope, and hunger for it, right? People want a nice serving of Asajj Ventress content, and they're going to have to wait, right?
And do you have the soundboard ready? We haven't gotten any Plagueis things in the chat today.
No, nobody has been hazing me on that at all. So, all right.
Are you saying Sierra's not here?
I've got it.
Mitch is taking the day off.
Look, I've got to call it a day. I've got to get back to work. I've got some things coming up this afternoon, but thanks for coming and hanging out. As always, you two are great. I appreciate your support. And Rural Farm Boy, it's nice to have you home where you could join us in a timely manner.
Day today, so I'm getting paid for this.
That's that's great. That's great. And just for everybody that wants to hear it, and since you asked for it, Mike, here you go. All right. You got a little naughty list there. Yeah.
For who? I didn't do it.
No.
The sunlight of the spirit just came out. I mean, the clouds just broke and the sunlight came out, and we got Megan. We're praying for you, Megan.
Yeah, Meg, Star Wars Meg, love you so much. My prayers are with you, my friend. And I've been praying for you every day. I know you've gone through a lot. You've gone through a lot in your young life, and you're faced with quite a bit more. And just know that we love you. We know that we love you, and we're always here. So
she means a lot to me too. She just don't know it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, if you're welcome to hang out briefly following the show. And once again, thanks for hanging out with me here.
Everybody else in the Discord.
Yep. Come hang out with us in Discord anytime. You guys take care. Thanks for hanging out. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have our Star Wars weekly news roundup, and we'll see if Jason and or Meg are available. We may have to reach out to Rob. You never know. Maybe Bestman will be available. We'll see what we can do. The time might be a little flexible tomorrow because I do have some code review. I've got some other meetings on the schedule, so we'll have to fit it in there somewhere. All right. Thank you so much. And you all, thanks for being here. Oops, wrong buttons. There you go. And we look forward to talking with all of you next time. I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day. God bless you all. And ho, 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 Merry Christmas. May the force be with you always. Bye-bye.